Test. बोल दे भाई.
Test, check. Dude, I went for swimming. 13 June, Leech reopens.
So, okay. So, we are live.
All right. We have model kinds. Right. Let
Let me. 1 second. Okay. So, just a little recap. We have completed the first 5 modules. We are almost going to be complete the 6th module today. We have just the model hierarchy left. And after that, we are just going to be left with a data exchange pipeline and asset modularity and instancing.
that we will be completing in the upcoming week, like probably in I think three max to max Thursday.
Yeah,
Post that we will start working on more hands-on notebook and going through NVIDIA.
yeah. And I was looking at the Q&A part of that video today with Matty and Austin. And yeah, they did have some good questions. I think one of the main things that we need to focus on is the particular difference between inherits and specializes, because that is the part where we are getting a little confused, and that is a little tricky part to basically decide the composition value based on the strength ordering. I think um, we do have the correct conceptual base for that now. So we just need to, fill up some holes in our reasoning over there. So, but yeah, anyway, let's get started with the model hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
And let me first click on model hierarchy. Okay. So, in model hierarchy, in this lesson, you'll learn about organizing assets into logical structures using OpenUSD's model hierarchy system. By the end of this module, you'll be able to explain the role of model hierarchies in organizing OpenUSD assets, structure assets using nested model hierarchies, leverage kinds to effectively traverse model hierarchies. Okay. So what are basically kinds? Kind is metadata that classifies prim into categories for organizational traversal purposes. So let me quickly open this in model hierarchy. Yeah, here it is. So this is the model hierarchy over here. The model hierarchy is an organizational system that creates a table of contents of important subtree in a subscene in a scene.
Mm-hmm.
Model hierarchy is contiguous prefix of the scene graph that acts as a table of contents for important subtrees built from prims with model kinds that follow strict containment rules. Only group models. What does this mean? Model hierarchy is contiguous prefix of scene graph.
That act as a table of contents for important subtrees. Table of contents for important subtrees. Hmm. Built for prims and with the model kinds that follow. Dude, I think we should go back to the one that we are following first, and then we'll get to know more about it. This glossary is for people that have already done with in-depth analysis and go through with model hierarchy. Yeah, let's focus on this. Yeah.
Okay, what are model kinds?
All right.
Through composition, OpenUSD can build complex hierarchies of scenes.
Yes.
Yes. At levels of complexity required for a film production shot or a factory line simulation, a single scene graph can become difficult to navigate for both algorithms and users. Hmm. At levels of complexity required to film production shot the or factory line simulation, a single scene graph can become difficult to navigate both algorithms and users. Okay. Mm-hmm.
A single scene graph can become difficult to navigate for both algorithm and users.
Okay.
Model.
So for the composition algorithm and for the user as
I
well.
think algorithm is something else, not
No, I think it's the composition algorithm it's talking about.
okay.
You see, through composition, OpenUSD can build complex hierarchies of scenes at level at the levels of complexity required for a film production shot or a factory line simulation. A single scene graph can become difficult to navigate both for the algorithms and users. Model hierarchy, also known as kind metadata. So model hierarchy is also called as kind metadata. Okay. Model hierarchy is organizational system that creates a table of contents of important subtrees in a scene. Offers a separate higher level view of underlying scene graph. Okay. So over here is in the diagram, if you see factory cell is assembly, car is component, wheel is subcomponent, rim and tire does not have a type, door is a component, windshield and chassis don't have a type.
Because one of the
Fact-
things with model kinds I do remember is component cannot have any subcomponents. But I don't know how does
Mhm.
it have any subcomponents over here.
Mhm.
Model hierarchy, also known as kind metadata, yes, offers a separate
Mhm.
higher level view of underlying scene graph. Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about. See, we did stop at component over here, and there is no subcomponent.
What way? What did you read? Model hierarchy, also known as kind metadata, offers a separate higher level view of underlying scene graph.
Yeah,
And then prem is this, so stage traversal without kinds,
yeah.
and then stage traversal with kinds.
We can
Oh,
define then
so
what would be the leaf node, where is at which prim we are assembling things, and what is another component over here, maybe a payload or something. I would say
mhm,
that is how I would infer model hierarchy over here. So model hierarchy is designed to prune traversals at the
mhm,
component model boundary. So I think it is
mhm,
saying that it focuses on basically not going below component, right?
mhm,
Because that is the leaf node for that traversal, right? And anything that comes under component or after component is not traversed when we follow model hierarchy.
mhm,
Model hierarchy is designed to prune traversal at a relatively shallow point in the scene graph, right? It says directly over there that we are not trying to go much deeper, but only to a shallow point where we our algorithm and the user can understand the hierarchy of the whole file, maybe I would say, or the scene graph. Without it, traversal passes through all prims in your scene, which can be costly, right? As we know that traversal uses DFS approach,
mhm,
goes to the till the end of the file, right? But if we use, I think,
mhm.
model boundaries and model hierarchy over here,
Yeah, it's not gonna like it's going
it's
to
gonna go till a shallow point. And how do we define that shallow point? By defining the model kind, like okay, what is the model prim model looks
tell
like.
component. It's gonna just traverse tell components and not the other parts.
Will it till at what point are we going to traverse it and all those things?
Mhm.
right? Now, the pruning point is component model boundary, as it says over here, and all ancestral prims of component models, when correctly grouped, are part of the model hierarchy, where all descendants are not. So any descendant after component are not part of our model hierarchy. That's what it is saying. And any ancestor, like factory cell or something that is above that component, is gonna be grouped together. That okay, for factory cell, cars are gonna come under factory cell. I would say that is one of the grouping we have based on the above interpretation.
Mm.
Right. Let's go down.
Okay. So, one second. Model hierarchy design, blah blah blah. Without a traversal through all prims in your scene, which cannot be costly. The pruning point in is the component model bound. Oh, the pruning. The pruning point is the component model boundary.
Yes.
All ancestral prim of component models, when correctly grouped, are of the model hierarchy, while all descendants are not. Let's talk about two specific model kinds, components and assemblies. Yeah, component is the leaf model in the USD model hierarchy that represents a complete polishable asset. Okay, so a component is a leaf model in USD model hierarchy that represents a complete polishable asset.
Yes.
And an assembly is a published asset
Models.
that groups multiple models together into a meaningful collection. Uh, it's a published asset. Okay.
Assemblies, like basically it's gonna assemble everything the RP are gonna define and is gonna
Okay.
come under
This is a refresher of what we
discussed and
discuss in Learn Open Age Understanding Model Kinds. Okay. Hmm. Oh yeah, I think I remember now. Okay. Component. Do you want to read this?
yeah. The term component is often overloaded in many domains. It's helpful to think of component model as roughly corresponding to consumer facing products. For example, a consumer can purchase a pen and a consumer can purchase a house. Despite the differences in scale and complexity, both of these would be a logical component model in hierarchy. A consumer can purchase a pen despite. Oh, okay. So, like, we are defining what would be the grouping
Mm-hmm.
for pen and house, depending upon what can we do with those. So we can like basically purchase both of them, and we can put them in a consumer group that okay, both of them
Mm-hmm.
can be consumed, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the major difference would be scale and complexity. So
Mm-hmm.
purchasing a house requires a lot of effort, as compared to purchasing a pen that is a small object or
Mm-hmm.
asset, as you would want to consider, right? All ancestors of a component model must have their kind metadata set to either a group or a subkind of group, such as assembly. This requirement is primarily to ensure that component discovery is efficient for composition. This
Mm-hmm.
is okay. So yeah, can you hover over group? What is group is a kind of model that contains other models. Oh, okay. So it comes about, I think, assembly as well, I would say, because it's trying to group things up.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can group like consumer products, right? And then we can define components as house and pen accordingly under
Mm-hmm.
that group. Since the component model, oh, wait, we have such as assembly, this requirement is primarily to ensure the component discovery is efficient for composition. Now, since the component model kind of denotes a leaf, asset, or pruning point in the model hierarchy, component models cannot contain other component model as a descendant, as we read earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
OpenUSD provides the subcomponent annotation for foreign trims that are outside the model hierarchy, which helps facilitate kind-based workflows. And subcomponent trims can contain other subcomponent trims. Before we move on to talk about other assemblies, take a look at the two examples of model hierarchy above. So let's go through this example. What do we have? Okay, we are defining an assembly, then component, and then a subcomponent, right? But anyways, we are going to go till component only because we don't read component or any other thing. So when we are going to prune the first example, we will go assembly like factory cell, and then door. We won't be traversing wheel, rim, tire, and same for
Mm-hmm.
red chassis because it's toxic. And in the
Mm-hmm.
incorrect hierarchy example, it is reordered in a incorrect manner, that assembly component group. So group will always come on the top. That's why that's an incorrect hierarchy over here,
Mm.
right? And I think that is what it is over written below. What makes the first model hierarchy correct? What makes the second model hierarchy correct? Already did the analysis for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to organize, then we can just wait. Why do we want to reorganize them? Yeah, we can reorganize them, but that's something task for the day. Yeah, let's move down into assembly. What does assembly talks about?
Can you think of another correct way to organize this model hierarchy? Uh, assembly component, subcomponent. Mm.
You can remove wheel from subcomponent into a component as well. I would say that would be one of the way, and then put rim and tire inside it.
Hmm. So why is rim and tire subcomponent over here and
It's only for, I think, understanding purposes that those are subcomponents or something like that. You can define whatever component you want over there, but according to the
okay.
algorithm, it won't go below component. That is the only thing that matters over here.
Mm-hmm.
That when you define, so there are only three types of model kind: group, assembly, and component.
I see.
Yeah. Let's go down to assembly now. Assemblies are groups that usually correspond with aggregate assets. Assemblies are important groups that usually correspond to aggregate assets. Do how many times? If a house is a component model, then its neighborhood and city could be assembly models. Okay, if a house is a component, oh, it's this neighborhood and city could be assembly models. Okay, okay. In this example, a neighborhood may contain multiple intermediate group scopes in between the assembly and component for organizational purposes, say grouping trees, street lights, and architecture separately. Assembly models can contain other assembly models, group kinds, and component models. Okay, how do you say is grouping trees, street lights, and architecture separately? Okay, in this example, a neighborhood may contain. Okay, when you go down, I think do they might have a much better explanation. No, they do not have. Okay, in routine assembly, multiple intermediate group scopes.
Wait.
Oh, I get it. I get it. What it is saying over there. What it is saying. I get it. So so a group can have multiple groups inside it. That's what it is saying over there, right? Because it says a neighborhood may contain intermediate group scopes in between assembly and component for organizational purposes. I think if we take a look at the exam exercise, we might be able to explore more.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if this is an assembly, so they're saying all the houses can be one group, all the streetlights can be another group, and
yes,
all the trees can be another group.
yes. Like all and the other architectural things can be another group as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then those groups can have individual components that can be trees.
Assembly models can contain other assembly models, group kinds, and component models.
Yes.
I see.
All right. Time for to open USD.
Model set model kind.
We're gonna
Let's
set
see.
we're gonna use a model API, select our prim, and then use dot set kind API to set the type of model type or the model kind for that trim. And then once we do that, I think we might already have that in the exercise, I would say.
So what is this doing? USD dot model API default prim set kind dot tokens dot component. Dirty Diana. Hmm. And then Lord building F again. So world has been set to kind component. In USD view, click on world metadata kind. Hmm. Oh, that's it.
We're setting up that, changing the model prim to that model current, right? That is what we are doing
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, look at this
Mhm.
kindness component.
Okay.
But that's it. We are not grouping anything yet.
Yeah, we are gonna group. I think in the next exercise, I would say.
Okay. Exercise assemblies. In this exercise, we will create a new assembly asset called city block A that will reference large building F multiple times to create a city block. We will set the model kind of the new asset to assembly.
Yes.
Model kind of new asset to assembly. Hmm. Okay, so what is this code doing? It has a function over here, position building, xform API, USD geom.xform common API prim. Hmm. Billie Jean is not mine. Just a girl thinks that I am the one. But Jane is not my son. Now we will populate the asset by referencing component asset. Hmm. Assembling the aggregate asset made up of component asset.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're gonna pin the child. Okay, so first we're gonna set the kind to assembly, and then we're gonna populate it over here. That is by appending. Okay, to appending large building F into the world prem, and then what is the next thing we are doing? We are going
Ref target.
no, we are
Prem
going to
using
form. Okay, in the 44th line, and then we are going to add a new reference for building F. Okay, and then we are going to position. What is this position underscore building does? What does? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay. That is what it is doing over there.
this function.
Function. Okay, okay, perfect. All right.
But
And
what is this doing?
I think it's doing some kind of transformation. Like first, there's some Z offset, and then rotation along y-axis. The other thing is
Okay.
index. So we are also inputting index. If index is greater than 3, then I think for the third building, the offset will be 200 and rotation will be 180.
Mm.
Like more than like the fourth third, like any index that is greater than 3, I would say. And
Mm.
then we have xform API that is going to be generalized for every other building that we are going to position it, and it's going to have a translation. So it's going to be along x-axis with some index math, and the offset of z offset. Right now z offset is 0, so it's not going to matter for those.
Mhm.
And then we are rotating it along y-axis, right? And since
Mhm.
y is 0, so there's going to be no rotation, right? So I think any buildings that have index above 4 will have the offset and rotation taken place.
Mhm.
All right. What's next? I think yes, saving the file and executing the script. Voila.
But this is only part one.
So what? So but that is what we have to do, right? Or do we have to do something else? Part two will be in the next one. I think. Let's complete this.
Mm-mm.
All right. Let's take a look at the output. I think we need to run USD view as well to see the output.
Mhm. Curiosity.
All
Mhm.
right. Yes. So as we can see, any buildings that had an index greater than 3 were rotated. That is the after fourth, fifth, and sixth building. That's why they are facing each other. And this
Mhm.
building is the same reference that we are using. So over here we are using references to load the same
Mhm.
component again and again.
But uh-huh.
Are you talking about the background? We are missing the background or something?
No, no, no. I think that is just. I'm just trying to understand the grouping they have done over here.
Like I think for the world, grouping is
Kindly
assembly.
assembly world metadata component. So kind is still component over here, and for world kind is missing.
For world kind is missing. You are not selecting world then I think. Can you check?
What is this then?
Wait, are we on the correct value? Layer stack. Wait, let me take a look at the documentation. As parameterization, no. Oh, it's model hierarchy. Assemblies and select root. Oh, you have to select. I guess root first. So,
Hmm.
have you selected metadata for that? Okay, kind is not loading. Can you go back to the exam to the file?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we had default rem. Then have we set up the wait, dude? There is no command that sets up that world as you have not copied that command, I guess. Like, wait, let me go up.
There is
Did you copy
only.
the first line? USD model prim. This line.
I know.
That's why. That's why. That's why.
Oh,
Yeah, you have to copy it. I think about where you are defining the world prim. Yes, yeah, right over here maybe. Okay, now
and
yeah.
I think this will be.
No, no, this will be over there only. Yeah, keep it over there. Keep it over there. This is
No, this will be over here.
okay. Yes.
Delete this file. Run this again. Mm-hmm. Yes, assembly. Okay.
You want it?
Yes, we're getting kind as assembly for world
Nice.
here.
There we go.
But
Perfect.
what does it mean? I
It
have no
means
idea.
that we have that's a metadata. So that's more for reference. That if even if
Mm.
you do not define it, it's still gonna
Mm-hmm.
render. But that's more for user and the model that this is where everything is
Mm-hmm.
gonna get assembled in this frame, and other things that we are loading maybe are the components.
And this is component. Yeah. Okay. When you open up the door. Note that we have created a valid model hierarchy. Assembly, component, component, component. Hmm. But what's the use case? I still don't know. Understand what's the
It's for
use case of
metadata, dude. It's for metadata. It's for referencing. So now you know that that is this prim is assembling things. This prim is gonna be used for components. Similar to if you take a
it.
look at any Python file, right? You define some are utility functions, some are gonna be library
Hmm.
functions, right? So
Hmm.
if you don't define them, they're still gonna run. But that's for better readability and all those things. That was the main goal for this. Exercise that that's a standard practice that we would have to follow eventually when we are
Hmm.
going to work with complex scenes, right?
Hmm.
That is the main goal for this thing.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Model hierarchy considerations.
When creating a model hierarchy, there are four essential factors to keep in mind. These hierarchies should be operational, shallow, consistent, and extensible. Let's explore each of these aspects in more detail. Operational, shallowness, consistency, and extensibility. Consideration for model hierarchy. Operational, let's go down. Component and assembly models should be easily referenced in other contexts. They should include all the essential dependencies such as material bindings or skeleton setups that downstream users require. It's important to note that definition of an operational model may vary by site and pipeline. For example, some pipelines might support geometry only component models, which are designed to shaded in the downstream assembly models. But I don't know. I think this is copied into Gemini, dude. Like this is some kind of confusing shit. It says that
Wait,
component
one
will
second, one second.
yeah.
Should easily be referenced in other contexts. They should all they should include all essential dependencies, such as material bindings or skeleton setups that downstream user require. Okay, read this. Here's the explanation broken down into four simple lines. Ideally, a 3D model should be complete self-contained package, including its color and bones, so it works instantly anywhere.
Include ideally 3D models should be complete self-contained.
This ensures other artists can easily drop your model into their scene without worrying about missing pieces. However, every animation studio has its own unique rules for what they consider finished or ready to use model. For example, some studios prefer to save blank unpainted 3D shapes first and have a completely different team paint them later. So components and assembly models should be easily referenced in other contexts and they should all include essential dependencies such as material bindings or skeletal. Oh, okay. And downstream users require. Okay. It's important to note that the definition of an operational model may vary site and pipeline. For example, some pipeline. Okay, okay, okay. Oh yeah, I understand this.
Okay, I ask him a question. Then, can based on this, can we have assemblies under components?
What?
It says over
Why
here,
are you asking that?
which are designed to be shaded in downstream assembly models.
It's important. For example, some pipelines might support geometry only component models, which are designed to be shaded in downstream assembly models. Bro, downstream over here means that assembly model is like
But is it
this
going to be
component.
assembly?
Wait. The component model that here it is talking about is something that has been completed and that is going to be used in another downstream assembly models. Like, eh, for example, you worked on a component
Uh-huh.
and you created a USDA file and all that dependencies and everything for that,
Mhm.
right? And then I am working in a scene where I use a file, a component that you have created. So in my assembly, that component is going to be used.
Mhm.
So that's what this means, which are designed to be shaded in downstream assembly models.
Mm.
It does not mean that component is going to be above assembly.
Oh, I see. I see. Now it makes sense.
Look over here.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Like, yeah. Shallowness.
Hmm.
Asset structure should encourage a shallow model hierarchy, as explained earlier. The kind of metadata is explicitly read during the composition for all members of the model hierarchy, which costs minimized in a shallow structure. A deep model hierarchy introduces a small but measurable overhead of compositions and misses out on performance gains from pruned traversals. A G-prim tagged as a component is a sign that a model hierarchy is deep. G-prim tagged as a component is a sign that
Wait,
a model hierarchy.
wait. What is the asset structure should be included for kind metadata is explicitly read during composition for all members of model hierarchy with costs minimized in a shallow structure. What does this mean?
So, shallow model hierarchy. Why do we have shadow model hierarchy?
I know shallow model hierarchy, well, like only going till like components and not
The kind
doing
of
sub
metadata,
components.
the kind metadata is explicitly read during composition of
For each
all
model
members,
hierarchy,
for all members of the model hierarchy.
measurable overhead to composition and misses out on performance gains from prune traversals.
Yes.
A G-prim tagged as a component is a sign that model hierarchy is deep. Oh, okay, I think I get it. But
Mhm.
let's G-prim geometric primitive is base type for all renderable geometric primitives in USD geom. Okay. Here is the explanation broken down into four simple lines. When OpenUSD loads a scene, it has to read the category label, okay, of every group. So keeping your folder structure flat and simple keeps loading times incredibly fast. If you nest folders too deeply, the computer wastes time reading thousands of extra labels and loses its ability to quick shortcuts to skip over irrelevant data. A G-prim is a raw 3D shape like a single screw or polygon mesh. Bro, also before I forget, mesh definition, material.
Dude, I showed you the visualization
Yeah.
yesterday.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Just remember through that. That is mesh. That is a literal meaning. And that's how it's a polygonal thing.
I see, brother. Okay. And then if you nest too deep, a nest folder, okay, yeah, a G pro, blah blah blah, like a single screw or polygon mesh. Tagging it as a main component is a major red flag that your organization is too deep. It means you are forcing the system to officially track millions of tiny individual parts as major assets rather than just tracking the car as a whole and leaving the screws hidden safely inside it. Got it. Shallowness is done.
Yes.
Consistency.
As the language and expectations around components, subcomponents, and assemblies evolve within an ecosystem, it's crucial that an asset's consistency represents one of these concepts. For instance, it's common to expect component models to be fully packed and renderable with their geometry and materials completely specified and organized into geometry and material scopes. However, the practice of referencing component models with other component models and reclassifying them as subcomponent trim can make asset navigation more complex as material trims can become nested under geometry scope. Wait, okay. As language and expectations around components represents one of the okay, asset consistency represents one of these concepts. Okay, okay.
Wait. As the language and expectation around component subcomponent assemblies evolve within an ecosystem, it's crucial that an asset consistently represents one of these concepts. For instance, it's common to expect component models to be fully packaged and renderable with their geometry. It's common to expect component models to be fully packaged and renderable with their geometry and materials completely specified and organized into geometry and material scopes. However, the practice of referencing components, what does this mean? For instance, it's common to expect, dude, they have fucking, why do they fucking complicate the
Mm.
concept for no reason? For instance, it's common to expect component model to be fully packaged and renderable with their geometry and material completely specified and organized into geometry and material. What? Uh, When you label a 3D model as a specific type, like a component, you are making a strict promise to your team about how that file is built. For example, if you tag model
Mm.
as a component, other artists will assume it's 100% finished and ready to render product. This means it cannot be a work in progress. Both its physical 3D shape and painted textures must be fully completed. Those shapes and colors must also be neatly sorted into standard, predictable folders like geometry and materials, so the studio software can load them instantly without confusion. Okay. Common to expect component models to be fully packaged and renderable with their geometry and blah blah blah. Okay, got it. However, the practice of referencing component models within other component models and reclassifying them as subcomponent prints can make asset navigation more complex, yes, as material prims can become nested under the geometry scope. As material prims can become nested under the geometry scope.
Job.
If this.
Like it's talking about a lot of nesting, nesting under nesting, continuous nesting,
Mm-hmm,
so much nesting that you get fucked up into the nest.
mm-hmm.
If the complexity is a concern, consider publishing assets in multiple variations, a fully packaged component, and individual parts that can be referenced into other components. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Extensibility. Wait, let me. If you shove a fully finished component inside another component, their Strictly organized geometry and material folders get tangled up. The inner component materials can accidentally get buried deep inside the outer component. Inner component material. Okay. Geometry folder, making the file a nightmare for other artists to navigate. To solve this structural mess, studios will often publish two separate versions of exact same 3D model. They save one fully painted self-contained version of standard use, second for raw parts version, fully raw parts specifically designed to be cleanly inserted into larger builds without causing folder clutter. Mm, do you understand this?
Yeah.
What?
So it's saying that if when we can either define them as model kinds, or we can define separately as references. That's what it is saying over there. Let's say you have a really complex USDF file. So instead of defining them as components, because if you define them as components, you have to render them. Like the system will render them anyhow. But if you load them as references, then your system like OpenUSD is optimized not to render them. Like OpenUSD's algorithm will not force the whole scene to render. Like we can define them as reference or payload, and usually, let's say you're creating an Amazon warehouse where you have a lot of components that you're trying to render. Instead of directly loading them, you can pick up the reference file from the developer or the company that has created those USD signatures and directly
Mm-hmm.
load them instead of using model kind. So at that point, that's what
Mm-hmm.
it's saying over here. For a scenario where you're loading a really complex scene, not for everything, but for a really complex scene.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yeah,
Hmm. Bruh.
yeah,
The Google Fitbit is really nice.
nice.
I took a nap and it mapped the my like 20-minute nap into this thing
Oh,
as well.
wow. Let me
It automatically detects when you're
wait for a
sleeping.
discounted one.
Huh?
I will wait for a discounted one soon. How often do you have to charge it?
Once a week.
Nice.
At least that's what they said.
Mhm.
Hmm. My sleep score is, not good, so I won't have a good day.
Yeah, brother. All right, let's move on to extensibility.
Mm-hmm.
A kind library that ships with OpenUSD can be extended using plugin info. Okay, this is really important. Allowing users to define their own extension to a component, assembly, and a subcomponent kind. For example, a pipeline might want to differentiate between various levels of assembly, such as location versus world, or type of subcomponents. However, rule governing model hierarchy are strict and unlike most fields are core to OpenUSD's composition engine. Mixing internal taxonomies with model hierarchy can lead to unintended complexity. Additionally, if your plugin info doesn't include extensions, client might struggle to interpret your kind structure or reconcile it with their own, resulting in invalid model hierarchies. Oh, okay. To avoid these issues, it's best to use custom properties, user properties, or schemas to describe your taxonomies and rarely, if ever, expose client library. When extending the core kinds, consider using a naming convention such as prefixing component extensions with seed underscore and assembly extension with a underscore. This practice leaves a trail for users to easily identify the core kind from an extension. And as an analogy, OpenUSD requires API schemas to be suffixed with API so they can be distinguished with type schemas just by the class name. Okay, okay. So basically, what they're saying over here is we can do extended, like we can do an extension using the plugin info that we will have. So I think we can basically extend our model hierarchy or the component as a plugin.
Mm.
And one of the issues that we might face is having same names. So for example, your plugin can have same model name or prim name or something. But
Mm-hmm.
since we know that it's an extension, so how do we define those extension? We are going to use some standard prefixing that is going to
Mm-hmm.
be C underscore dash and A underscore dash. And
Mm-hmm.
this practice basically tells the users to identify the core kind from an extension.
Wait. Repeat it. I zoned out. What do you mean?
Like when you're defining your schemas that
Mm-hmm.
are going to be an extension, right? That are right now that won't be a part of the complete model prim or complete USD file, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for example, you're defining a factory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in that factory, you have defined car, and then bus and other things,
Yeah.
right? And now, let's say you are trying to add car models into it.
Mm-hmm.
You have some internal models that you already created, and now maybe you're trying to import or extend some other things, some other car
Mm-hmm.
models as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem you might have is with it will be with the same namespace conventions that you might have,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So for example, for internal use cases you will use
Mm-hmm.
something like xyz underscore car name,
Mm-hmm.
right? But now when you're trying to extend it, or when you're trying
Mm-hmm.
to load the plugin, so
Mm-hmm.
it's telling that when you're trying to load that plugin, or whoever is trying to build that plugin, they
Mm-hmm.
are intended to follow some certain practices or prefixes for their
Mm-hmm.
components in their plugins, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when you're trying to load a plugin with that as a component, so that component
Mm-hmm.
would be named by C underscore.
Mm-hmm.
And if that prim is a model, is an assembly extension, right? That would
Mm-hmm.
be namespace as A underscore and whatever the name you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you will load the extensions, and that's how you will define the extensions when you're trying to create a plugin info for them. Right? This is still like complicated over here, but I think we might have some what do we say, exercises over here to take a look at it and see how we can do it.
Let me read this one more time. The kind library that ships with OpenUSD can be extended using plugin info. What exactly is plugin?
Plugins are gonna be like external components that you attach to your files, right? We haven't seen the plugins yet. That is the problem. That's what I'm saying. We haven't seen the plugins yet, but we have just heard about it.
Okay, wait. Can be extended using into plugin info, allowing users to define their own extensions to component, allowing users to define their own extensions to component assembly and subcomponent type. For example, a pipeline might want to differentiate between various levels of assemblies, such as location versus world, or types of subcomponents. Okay. However, the rules governing model hierarchy are strict and unlike most fields, are core to OpenUSD's composition engine. Mixing internal taxonomies with model hierarchy can lead to unintended complexity. Mixing internal taxonomies with the model hierarchy can lead to unintended complexity. Additionally, if your plugin info doesn't include your extensions, if your plugin info doesn't include your extensions, clients might struggle to interpret your kind, structure, or reconcile it with their own, resulting in invalid model hierarchies. To avoid these issues, it's best to use custom properties, user properties, or schemas to describe your taxonomies, and rarely, if ever, expose these to kind library. When extending core kinds, consider using a naming convention such as prefixing component extensions with C dash and assembly extensions as A underscore. This practice leaves a trail for users to easily identify the core kind from an extension. As an analogy, OpenUSD requires API schemas to be suffixed with API so they can be distinguished from typed schemas. Yes, just by the class name. Oh yeah, I almost forgot there were two types of schemas. There was like API schema and is a schema.
Yeah.
Is a schema defines what type of thing a prim fundamentally is, like a sphere or an X form. Okay, let me ask it over here. Come on. Come on. Before we move on to our final exercises, consider the following tips when working with model hierarchies. Model hierarchies are structured around the traversal pruning component and model boundary. Pruning component model boundary. Model hierarchies are structured around traversal pruning component model boundary. They should be shallow compared to full prim hierarchy to minimize additional composition costs. Model hierarchy should be consistent across different contexts. Minimize usage of kind in favor of custom properties or schemas.
What happened?
Nothing more. The explanation in four simple lines. You can build. Okay, wait. Think of plugin as a custom expansion pack for a board game or an aftermarket modification for a car. It is a small package of code you write to teach base OpenUSD software a new rule, file format, or definition that didn't come included in original factory box. Hmm. You can build custom add-ons plugins to invent your own category labels for models, like adding a city category alongside standard assembly. However, this is dangerous because OpenUSD's core engine relies heavily on those default factory labels. If you send your file to another studio that doesn't have your exact plugin installed, the file will break. To avoid crashing the pipeline, it is much safer to leave the core categorization alone and just use the standard custom attributes to tag your specific asset types. If you absolutely must invent new core categories, always add a warning prefix like a city for custom assembly so other artists instantly recognize it as an aftermarket modification. Oh, I got it.
Nice.
Okay, exercise. In this exercise, we recreated the city blocks a assembly asset, but we will show use of group. Oh, dude, this fucking.
Fine. Yeah, we are almost done with this one, and then we're gonna do a 10 question quiz. And then, yeah. An
Bro, why
exercise.
10, 25?
No, do 10. It's gonna take a while. I don't want to do stay awake after one.
Bro, we're gonna finish before 1.
I know we are not, dude. We are gonna take a lot of time because we do search everything, dude. That's why I don't. I'm not encouraging to do 25. You can do
Okay,
25
good.
after I go. Okay, continue doing it. I don't want to. But I want to see. For sure, you can go ahead and do 25 on your own. Do 100.
Uh,
Do complete. In this exercise, we recreated the city block A assembly set, but we will show the use of the group kind to section our buildings in the model hierarchy. Okay, okay.
what does this mean?
Let's first take a look at the code. What's happening over here?
No, wait, like we recreated the city block A assembly asset, but we will show you, we will show the
Use
use
of
of group
group.
kind of section our building in mod. What the fuck is this English, bro? I don't even understand
So
anything.
we are gonna showcase it by using group kind, brother. First we did it by assembly asset. Now we will show you the use of a group kind to section our
Okay.
buildings. Like we can section our buildings into sectors. That this building is that, that building is that.
Into north and south sides of the street. Oh, okay. Add the code in the designated section. Exercise 11.
So I think yeah, I think it's more like creating sectors. That this sector is gonna be
Sector Satara.
yes, sector Satara and whatever we have Satara.
Na na na, come on.
TV.
Thank God there is no music today. This
Well,
fucking
it's
club,
Sunday
bro.
and it's Monday night.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it, right?
Hmm.
But let's. I'm gonna run it, but we should take a look at the code. What did it create? City block USD. No, 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 come on. Okay, north south. It just created north south scopes. What else?
Yeah, that's gonna be our groups. North building, south buildings. That's what
Mm,
it was saying in the first two lines.
kind assembly. North. And south is kind group. So if metadata is kind group for north, and
The
then
word should
metadata.
be assembly. North and south should be groups. I think you might be missing some code snippet.
No, north is group, south is also group.
Yeah. Not you
And
earlier said that north is something else. That's why.
no, I did not say that. X form world is equal to assembly. X form north is equal to is kind equal to group and kind equal to group. Okay. And what is happening in the so class side enum north equal to 1, south equal to 2. What does that mean?
Enum is like I think numbering. It's for
Enumerates.
numbering. It's for defining. Like those are standard constant that we are gonna use. So in Python, you can decide like standard constants using enum library. That north
Mm-hmm.
is always gonna be one, south is always gonna be two, like that, and then you can use that class everywhere. that for the sides out, this is gonna be that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna be number, like it's gonna be a integer that it's gonna refer to as
I see.
constants, enum constants.
Hmm. So we have successfully created a valid model hierarchy. That's it. In code, what did we do? Asset layer is this stage dot set default prim model USD dot model API world prim set kind dot tokens dot assembly USD geom set stage app access. So for side, oh, class side. For side inside, added in intermediate group prim between world and building references side xform equal to usv geom dot xform dot define stage. Mhm. USD model API side xform set kind dot tokens dot group for x in range 1 comma 4. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Do you wanna?
That's it. That's it, right?
Where are we setting the group? I'm not able to understand in the code. Where are we?
There
I know it's in this
should be a
for
line.
loop.
There should, you see over here USD dot line 56.
USD dot model API side xform set kind dot tokens dot group. So where are we setting the assembly then?
Assembly should be line 45.
Hmm. Okay. Got it. I think last exercise, I guess. So
Yes,
city
sir.
block.
In
Mm.
this exercise, we'll simulate surface artists working at assembly level to make shading variations. Choices on both the city blocks. A, we have added a shading work stream to block A, allowing surface artists to work at the city block context and see how their variation choices on individual buildings look in context. To simulate surface artist working on city block A, you will create a script that makes random accent color and exterior choices. These choices will be authored to contents shading.usd USD layer of the city block A asset. Run the following commands in Visual Studio Code to open blah blah blah. Okay. So let's open the code and then we will see what it says.
What is it saying? To simulate a surfacing artist working on city block A, you'll create a script that makes random accent color and exterior type choices. These choices will
We
be
are
authored.
basically we are giving the prems variations by using
Mm-hmm.
variant sets on the city block that we created. So like different types of accent color or exterior type and all those things that would be needed for that artist to give like different kind of taste for the buildings, I would say. Like if you go down and look at the code block that we have on step 3, it says over there that we are traversing the stage and looking for is component, any of the leaf components, and then
Mhm.
getting the variant set that has variant set as exterior type, and then setting the prim with an accent color, right? And
Mhm.
then we are using the set attribute to and random dot choice. I think random dot choice is a inbuilt function that helps you select any random accent choice that we will have over here. Accent choice will be an internal variable like in the file that we might be using, probably an array. And
Mhm.
then we are going to use get variant set for the exterior type, and then setting up the variant set accordingly for that variant. So I think let's go into the code base. We can understand a lot better over there.
Mhm. Mhm. City block A.USDA. She told me that she had no man. Okay, what do they want us to see here? Note the starting state city block A. All the buildings have stucco exterior and red awning. Okay.
Okay, so we did set variants. Oh, let's like take a look at the accent choices. What is accent choices? Is it like an array or what? Array.
Wait, let me run this first. Setting building shading variation. Oh, I think they probably did this in. Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm. So I think now we need to run this again.
yes.
I see. They
The
changed the
accent
color.
got changed. Specifically
Hmm.
in the linings we have.
This looks like a school. Mm-hmm. Your results may look different, but you should now see some variant in building exterior color and accent color. Oh, you can run USD View to get randomized results. In Visual Studio Code, open the following file contents shading.usd. Note the separate, note the sparse overrides that are script authored in this layer. Hmm. Dude, do you wanna do one thing?
What?
I can take the USD exam,
Hmm.
like the certification exam, before, like,
Uh-huh.
and I can tell you.
Nah, bro. I think we won't need that. Like, I think we are doing good. I don't think we won't need that kind of thing.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
actually, we are doing pretty good.
Yeah. I think we have so like we have still 26 days left,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think we can prepare good because we are already completed with what like two more, and then we can just go through the glossary, interactive glossary, and all those things, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
last 3 weeks we can just attack, and then I would have more time since I would be going to the gym in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we can plan it out accordingly. Like we can spend a bit more time since we would know all we like. I think by the end of this week, we will we will know everything, most of the thing, not everything, most of the things about OpenUSD, and then
Mm-hmm.
there would be only like gaps, missing gaps that we would have.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Yeah, so I think we won't need that. Like I think, and it's not going to be that tough based on the YouTube videos we have been
Yeah,
seeing. Like
exactly.
it's
I
purely
saw
on
those.
like understand your understanding about OpenUSD and other things.
Hmm.
Right. So yeah, let's see. All right. So is this done? Right. Yeah. This part.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't taken a look at the code.
Okay. Well, wait. There's a code over here. I can see. And now the sparse overrides that our script authored in this layer. Over north
This
string
part.
data type. Okay. Stucco. We have accent colors. Okay. 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 Yes. 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 That I was correct. I was correct. My interpretation was correct. Yeah, that's an array, and then we are using random dot choice. So
Where is an array?
accent choice, line 21. So
Oh, yeah.
because you're using random dot choice, every time you render it, it's gonna
Where
be
is random dot choice?
like in line,
Oh, over here, 37.
yeah, 37 and 39. So it's always gonna be different
Mm.
because you're like randomness.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just gonna pick up any array that it would like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
I think we can do quiz now. If
Yeah, let's get started with the quiz attack. We'll try to do as many questions as we can until 1 a.m. and then we'll cut it off at one.
even if it's more than 25.
Yeah, yeah, even it's more than 25. Let's do that. Yeah. I only had time constraints. I never had like question constraints. So tomorrow I'm gonna tell you that. Do you own CoreView?
No. Oh, yeah, I do.
You do,
I do.
right? CoreView is gonna rep. CoreView is the first company or the AI hyperscaler that got the new, what was it? the new Vera Rubin
Mm-hmm.
GPU that was recently loaded in CoreView in cooperation with Dell. So CoreView is gonna shot up like crazy, I would say.
Hmm.
It's gonna go like, I think, 120 or something.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
Then I might sell Grab and
Yeah, bro. I'm also thinking to sell Grab. I'm gonna have analysis with Cloud more.
hmm
That should
Grab and Clean Spark.
clean. Don't sell CleanSpark, bro. CleanSpark is gonna rip more. CleanSpark is
I only have 25 shares.
yeah, that's fine. Like, why do you wanna sell that? Like, CleanSpark is already doing 18. Like,
What about Innovix?
Innovix you can sell. Innovix is a long term bet. You can sell Innovix. Wait, let me check. I think I do own Innovix as well. I have 100 shares. Innovix is also doing good. Yeah, you can sell Innovix. It's a 798. Yeah, you
And
can sell.
SLB?
SLV, it's on you. SLV is like, diversity thing. Like, if you go all in on in AI, then something happens, then your portfolio crashes accordingly.
Hmm.
Like I sold
What
SLV.
about DLocal?
D local. Yeah, I sold D local. Yeah, you can sell D local as well.
Yeah, I'll have more capital
Sold
for
D
CLSK
local.
and
Yeah, I think let me check. Yeah, I do not own anything. Yeah, I sold SLV completely. And D local, I had a call. Sold it for a loss. And yeah, D local was not doing that great. So you can sell D local as well. All right. So 191. You want to render a USD scene with a specific render using USD imaging. How would you typically specify the render to use? I know the answer is going to be A, but let's still go to by setting environment variable.
you want to render a USD scene with a specific render using USD imaging. Okay. How would you typically specify the renderer to use by setting an environment variable by using command line argument and both 1 and 3? So 1 is this and then 3 is this.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm saying the answer is going to be that according to the freaking quiz.
Yeah. Both environment variables and command line argument are
Point
used.
the one was an environment variable and three was the command line argument.
Yeah.
But let's verify it once. I think I do not know the answer properly. Let's verify it once and then we can get to the.
You want a renderer. You want to render a USD scene with specific renderer using USD imaging. How do you typically specify the renderer to use? Both environment variable and command line argument are used. That is right, I guess.
Okay, it says that.
Standalone command line and environment variable. Scripting method a Python API USD imaging gl.engine. Set renderer plugin method from USD imaging GL library to switch the render active delegate. Standalone command line. If you're rendering a scene non-interactively, do this as a generating thumbnail. I think it is correct.
Yeah, okay. 192. How can you optimize a large USD scene for improved performance? A, B, C, D, E. Okay. By increasing numbers of division, by disabling or converting all as into high resolution textures, by reducing number of prims into scene through instancing. I think last one. Yeah.
But why am I not able to check answer?
Oh, reload it. Yeah. The hell.
I don't know what the fuck happened. I think their site crashed.
Oh shit. Dude, RCB won. Holy shit.
IPL.
Yes, bro. And man, bus was on fire. I think
What was
in
on fire?
Gujarat. In Gujarat because
They lost.
yeah, holy shit, holy shit, bro. I was so shocked to see RCB winning this time.
Why? They're a good team, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they are always a good team, but they were so unlucky. Like they never won.
Now they've won like twice.
Oh, they won twice. I don't think so. Okay.
Yeah. So Virat Kohli was the captain this time as well.
Yeah. King Kohli.
Bro, what the fuck is happening? I don't know what happened. It's not loading.
Holy shit, bro. Oh, it broke. Do command shift R.
I did.
Go to the course. What's happening? Did you click on it?
Yeah, bro.
Holy shit, man. Fuck.
Because it's in the split screen. Oh, finally.
Mhm.
Yeah, what was it?
Last one. Is it
Correct.
correct? Yes, sir. Next question. Next question. 190.
What
What?
is the purpose of clip files in USD
To store
animation?
geometric data, to store animation data. Yeah, animation data.
Yeah.
Yes. 194. Geosphere. What is the purpose of USD geosphere from type to define material to define geometric properties of a sphere? Yes, sir. 195. Which of the following is not a common attribute of geomes, mesh frame, materials, fonts, indices, normals? Wait. Indices, normals.
Not a common attribute of
I think material. I would go with material. Uh,
points indices. No,
I don't
yeah,
know about maybe. Yo, bam.
because all these are geometric
Uh,
terms.
yeah. Normals is a geometric term or defines surface normals. I don't know.
Normals, bro, like perpendicular, normal.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. 196. What is the difference between a USD attribute and a property? Well, no. A is incorrect. B is show data, while A is more general that can refer to attribute relationships or data type. C. There we go. 197. You have a library of animation clips. How can you efficiently use these clips across multiple assets in your USD scene? I'm betting a scene in an by creating a new
You
clip.
have a library of animation clips. How will you
C.
efficiently use these clips across? Search by embedding no duplicating clip files for each aspect.
D.
Oh yeah, I think we did this. We saw this somewhere, right? USD anim clip.
Yep. Why you are working with USD stage that contains multiple layers, you need to determine which layer is the strongest opinion for specific attribute on a prim. Which USD API method should you use? Uh, you need to determine which layer is strongest opinion. Strongest opinion for a specific attribute. Okay, you need to decide. I think get resolved value. It's gonna be get
Yeah.
value.
Which layer? But it's asking which layer is the
You
strongest
need to
opinion.
determine. Yeah. So
The
determine
strongest opinion for specific attribute.
on a prim. So I think you're gonna use get resolve on that attribute to determine it because that's gonna give you the resolved value. I would say. Or yeah, that's the best answer I think. From my side, I might be wrong.
Bro, resolved value will give you the like the value of the opinion.
Okay. So cause I have never seen get owner, so I'm a bit skeptical with get owner. Can you okay? Oh, it returns the okay. I see.
SDF layer that defined that
Get
attribute.
owner.
I told you, bro, that it's layer.
Yes.
But let's check.
Yes.
This is saying something completely different.
What is it saying? Get property stack. Oh yeah, that would be the most appropriate answer. That's why I was a bit skeptical with get owner. And is get owner something? Yeah, get property stack would be the most, or the get resolve info. Yeah, get owner is I think something that they might have created.
No, bro, get on is correct.
Get in.
Read this.
Are you sure? Wait.
Which prim a specific property, attribute, or relationship belongs to. So, because properties cannot exist floating in thin air, they must be attached to a prim. This command lets you trace the property back to its parent.
Get owner. Let me check in OpenUSD as well. OpenUSD.org. I just want to verify that it exists. Get owner. Dude, there is nothing like get owner in the whole OpenUSD documentation. They have,
Bro, what is this then?
let me check. We think that LLM might be hallucinating. Can you ask him for the source? Ask him for the source. Get property stack. Yes, the get property stack comes back. And what was the other one? Uh,
Get owner.
get resolved info.
Get owner.
Okay, can you click on it? A model hierarchy. Hierarchy. Where, dude, it's hallucinating a lot. I don't think there was any mention of this. Yeah, dude, Gemini is hallucinating. Do Command F to search. Like I did search on this the whole documentation, and there's no mention of get owner. Get property stack. Yeah, bro, it's hallucinating.
Arey, relax. 1 second.
Dude, I did check everywhere. That's what I'm saying. And then and get resolved info is also incorrect answer. The get property stack is the most appropriate and correct answer over here.
Mhm.
Get owner USD search in OpenUSD.
Bro, fuck you. What is this?
Owner, it returns the owner.
Returns the owner prim of
This is wrong.
relation.
We wanted the compose layer, not the owner prim.
Bro, owner prim is the composed, like, is the layer.
It's the
What are you?
owner, not the. I think. Wait, what was the question again? You are working in with the you contain. You need to which layer is the strongest opinion, right? Which layer is the strongest opinion? Does this answers that thing? Get owner. Yeah, get owner. Is there get owner property? What was the question? Can you go back to the question? Is this property used to determine the strongest opinion for a specific attribute on prem? The layer for the layer stronger. Yes, see it says over here SGF get owner property method or concept is usually used to retrieve the owning object. However,
Object.
it is not used to determine the layer's strongest opinion.
So what's gonna be the answer?
So answer is gonna be I think okay. What would be the answer? Yeah, let's see. Let's ask that. Get owner property. I think. What is the wait? What is the correct answer?
Get property stack.
Yeah, maybe get property stack. Yeah, got but no answer is the correct answer is no doesn't determine layer. Okay, but what is the yeah get property stack is the correct answer.
It's not in the option.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is incorrect. Like the that question is incorrect. Okay, let's go back. Dude, let's complete this. All right, one, two more. You are tasked with creating reusable asset library using OpenUSD. What is the most efficient way to structure your asset for maximum reusability?
Your task with creating reusable asset library. What is the most efficient way to structure your assets for
I would go with the DM.
for individual assets and use referencing to assemble them into large. Okay. Company needs to represent a complex robot arm in OpenUSD, including kinematic structure, material, and collision geometry. They want to optimize for both runtime performance and robotic simulation and authoring flexibility, which composition pattern is most suitable.
Both runtime performance and okay,
Payload.
runtime performance and collision geometry. Wait, is it,
Yeah, it's gonna be payload, bro.
wait, is it an authoring flexibility?
No references,
Yeah, why would it be payload?
bro.
That's why I was saying you to
Why
wait.
would it be references? Tell me.
It's because references payload is gonna make sure that you can load it. You have to load it anyhow, right? And you can unload it.
Wow, why? Wow.
But if you use references, you can use instancing because it is talking about performance. right? If you use references, you can use instancing to make sure that it renders perfectly in your memory buffer.
I'll fraud check you
Yes,
right now.
check it.
You don't wanna love me, don't kill me. Mhm.
Uh, References utilizing payload and instanceable references. See, it says over there.
Utilizing payloads,
And instanceable references. You sure?
bitch.
But you see, it uses references over there. It's using references as
But
well.
what about
Then
payloads?
why not references? That's what I'm
Then
saying.
why not payloads?
Because
That's what
references is much more appropriate because you can reuse it again and again, and you can if you do instanceable equal to true, then you can load it in the memory efficiently. That would be my argument, and that's why reference would be a more appropriate answer for performance focused thing. Okay,
payloads and
give the
instanceable
options
references.
to AI and let's see what it says for the what would the best option. It's saying both payload and instanceable references. That's why I was going to go with it, references. Because if you do payload, it's not necessarily that you can instance them.
Prepend payload and then prepend references. I'll say choose one,
Based on the question.
payload or reference. I think it might choose reference because it's more higher up in composition, in like strength ordering.
Yeah, but the question doesn't talk about, I think, strength ordering. It talks more about for the problem, the unloaded superpower or settle the fraud references when your robotic simulation engine like as open user it can. Why a standard reference fail over here? Oh, okay, okay, that's why you have to define it as instructional reference. Then the quiz is wrong.
Reference.
But I was correct over there, dude. Like according to the quiz, I was correct. But yeah, it says over here.
Most appropriate.
Let me ask with perplexity once.
No, now because you're wrong, let me ask a
Yeah, dude,
perplexity.
perplexity. You had to verify Gemini hallucinates. Go
Oh.
back to the question. Let me copy it. You need to verify it multiple times with AI. Go up. Payload or references. All right, 10 questions. It's 1 a.m.
Mhm.
Opening payload versus reference performance. Clarifying the task between payload and references. Checking open. Yeah, it's gonna be payload. Oh, okay. You have to- oh, all right, guys. Today we're gonna end this stream a bit early because we have to fix our sleep schedule that is completely fogged, and we do have office in the morning. So, Lord have mercy on us.
That's true.
Yeah, and then probably tomorrow we will start our stream a bit early. Hopefully.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yes, sir. All right.
All right, end stream.
चल भाई ठीक है. जल्दी
All
करते हैं
right.
भाई कल थोड़ा.